There's something about taking responsibility, about seeing my part in things that actually feels liberating. It feels better than being a helpless victim. No, I'm not saying that what I'm about to share is the absolute truth forever and ever. What I'm going to share is a story of my awakening to my co-creative powers, my awakening to the reality of my life. I am not just innocently watching things happen. I am contributing. And as I see how and what I'm contributing, I am no longer powerless. I've regained some power. I have power to affect the change I desire to bring about. This is a story about a gun, a shooting, and a loss of life. I will not go into the details of the event, but if that is a story, a topic you would prefer to skip, please skip this audio and catch the next one. There's a regional park at the end of my neighborhood. It is a bright spot in my world. It's my sanctuary. I spend a lot of my time there. I am there every single day, and I have been for over 6 years now. It really fills my heart. And I offer events in the park. I ask people to meet me in the park. If you came to visit, we would definitely visit the park. And we had a tragic, traumatic, violent event occur on a beautiful spring Sunday afternoon. It was a windless day, which is remarkable for where I live. It was bright sunshine, but the temperature was cool, so we could be outside without shade. And everybody was. We were all in the park. There were hundreds of people inside the fenced-in dog park area. When the shooting occurred, there was a loss of life. We heard the gunshots, we saw the pandemonium, and I've been deeply affected. I have been reeling from the experience for over a week. I didn't understand. I can't understand. I don't know that the human mind is capable of comprehending an act of violence in such an idyllic space where we are theoretically supposed to be safe, recreating, enjoying ourselves, feeling a bit of freedom and self-expression. I didn't understand how such an act of violence could be called to that beautiful space. Has my sanctuary been ripped away from me? Am I no longer safe? How do I share how I feel and how this has affected me? How do I process this? And the people that I talk to, they don't seem to see things the way that I do. Oh, it's got nothing to do with us. But it does. And that's the point. That's the part, because I have been feeling like a victim, like an act of horrific violence has been perpetuated upon me for no reason. I have no traction. I can't get my bearings. And I don't want to give up what I love. And I absolutely have not wanted to deny or repress or reject, whatever the words are. I don't want to go, well, it happens everywhere, so why not here? Well, I'm safe. It didn't happen to me. It's okay. Well, you know what? The laws are the laws, so it's okay. I don't want to deny how I feel about this. And I don't want to take the emotion and stuff it down. So I've really had a struggle with this. I wanted to blame everyone, and I noticed I could observe that within me, violence. I could feel violence. I wanted to do harm to the man who killed. But that's not the solution. What is my part? Do I go to the sheriff's office and demand justice? Do I force my opinion? Do I argue with the park rangers who have washed their hands of the entire experience? Do I rage against people when they try to tell me to park within the lines, but they can't keep people from actively shooting and killing? Where do I place all of this? I am so grateful for the gene keys. They are my path to awakening. They are my path to seeing my role in all of this. The gene keys activate cells within our body. I become a magnet for the experiences I am looking for. And so in my ordinary everyday life, I have had experiences come to me, and they've made me question, well, what's my part in this? And as I look and I reflect on these small things that have been happening in my life, all of a sudden my inner world opened up, and I now have a brand new vista through which to view what happened in the park, that very dark act. I am not an innocent victim. And somehow reclaiming my part in the violence feels like liberation. And I'm not saying it will feel like this for you. I'm saying thank you for listening to my story. What is it awakening within you? What is stirring within you as you hear these words, as you hear the way that I am unwinding myself? So what has occurred to me? What I have become aware of as I have had this open inquiry, what is my part in this? Where do I place my effort to affect the change I desire? How do I find love? How do I greet this situation with an open heart? Because it slammed my heart shut, I'll be honest. Well, what I've come to see is that we are all one. We are all connected. I resonate at a certain frequency, and I call certain experiences to me based upon that frequency. So this does have something to do with all of us. And what I can see now is that when I go through my life, and especially when I come to the park, when my heart is filled with hate, with anger, with upset, with violence, it is calling that frequency here. So my part isn't to rail against gun laws. It isn't necessarily to go and talk to the sheriff, although it might be. My part really is to increase the love I have in my heart, to walk through my life, through my days, through my experience, through this park with love in my heart. When I am upset, it is my responsibility to process that upsetness and not to spew it out into the world around me, calling in more of that frequency. My part is to love myself, my experience, and to be that loving energy in the park. And so yesterday I began my work. My work is to not be upset when Stella does this or Stella does that, not to be frustrated when the mud is this or that or the other. My responsibility is to accept my circumstances as I'm walking through this park, to not be ruminating and cursing about what's happening, to walk genuinely with an open heart. That will call more of that frequency here to the place that I find my sanctuary. And this has felt so freeing. It has felt like I have found my place, my space. I have some traction. And yesterday I knew what to do. I came and I said a blessing. I invoked what I desire here in the park. Thank you for listening to my share. I would welcome and invite you to share with me anything that you care to, anything that you've heard, anything that you're up against. And I do offer a couple of ways to come closer into this work, into our hearts. Please check out my Linktree link in the show notes for all of the ways. And until I see you in study group, in the intimacy circle, take such good care.